Hey guys, today we say goodbye to another year, 2015, and so we're going to do my little tradition I got going here of taking a look back 10 years ago today to 2005 wrapped up. And when I say wrapped up, of course, I'm talking about Mad Skillz Classic Annual Wrap-Up Records. We did one in 2002, we did one in 2003. You notice we didn't do one last year for 2004, and that's because he never put one out. Technically he made a song. There is an MP3 of it, 2004 wrap-up, but there's no wax, no CD single, not even a cassette single, nothing. He never put it out. So, of course, I'm not going to just cover some MP3. So we didn't do it last year, but now we're back. There is a 2005 Skillz 2005 wrap-up on Word of Mouth, which is a bootleg label, and actually, if you think about it, 2003 was the only legit release of any of these Mad Skillz wrap-ups. That was on Hip Hop Site Records, which is a little independent 45 thing he did. But that's the only one that's a legitimate release that's like official that Skillz was on board about. 2002, of course, was a shady white label. And bam, right here, Word of Mouth is a total white label, illegit bootleg label that put out lots of records, all with the same sleeve and the same kind of label and everything, but it's all illegitimate, illegal, shady stuff, including Skillz 2005 wrap-up. Actually, you probably notice here that this is the B-side. It's because the A-side is a couple of Raekwon tracks, including Baggage Handler with Busta Rhymes and stuff, and that's probably actually more what almost everybody bought this record for. I'm probably one of the few people that really got it for the Skillz. This is actually kind of one of two related word-of-mouth 12 inches. We got this one here too, which features more Raekwon primarily, but also again another Skillz on the B-side, and that one's called New Year's Evil, so I figured that's appropriate to talk quickly about here too. I don't really know why it's called New Year's Evil at all. I mean, there's a movie called New Year's Evil from the 80s. It's a slasher movie. There's no connection. Also, he has no connection to New Year's in this track. He makes no reference to New Year's. Instrumentally and with the hook and all, it really sounds like the title should be Bring It or You Can Bring It, because that's what they keep saying on the hook. And it's just him kind of going off over like a Chipmunk soul track. It's pretty dope, but otherwise no connection to New Year's. So I'll play a clip of it, but I don't really know quite why it's called that. But this is Skillz New Year's on the other Word of Mouth 12 inch, which also features Raekwon and who else is on it? Oh yeah, Fat Joe.
Bring shooting where you are. If you want me to bring it, I will. I will.
Choices, break out or get broke the fuck down now. Question, is you crazy, nigga? Did you actually think that you was gonna play me, nigga? How so? Reroute your mouth, ho, get swole up, pull up your flow. So hold up, stop, go. It's time to choose your weapon, cause I'm at everybody stepping like Bad Boy in 97. And if I don't know you by now, then screw you, nigga. And don't let the new album title fool you, nigga. That small shit, y'all can't see me whether I got mad in front of my fucking name or not. I should be your worst fear. Nowadays, niggas ain't losing battles, dog. They losing careers. I gotta figure you bluffing. You wanna set it, holler at me. It's nothing. Get heard, nigga. Don't get scared. Y'all fools don't want no more. What you think they stopped making tools after they made yours? I got my mind on my money, my eyes on your bitch. So if your hustle's fucked up, then you guys better switch.
But now let's get to the main feature, the Skillz wrap-up record. And again, mostly Raekwon stuff. You got Biggie Smalls with Raekwon, Busta Rhymes with Raekwon. And also on the B-side, you also have a track by D'Angelo, which you might think, R&B, not so interested. Song is called Baby One. You might think, well, I don't know a Baby One song. Of course, all these songs are essentially unreleased stuff, so it wouldn't be a surprise you've never heard of it. But really, it's not really a D'Angelo song at all, or just barely. Actually, what it is, it's not really quite properly credited. It's a Mad Skillz song, basically just flipping a D'Angelo sample. You know that song he did with Redman and Method Man called Left and Right, something like that? He has a quick line in there, which basically, that little instrumental snippet and that line, Mad Skillz just loops over and over again and makes his own song about it. So all three verses are Mad Skillz. D'Angelo is only contributing the hook, and even then it's just a vocal sample of him for the hook. So it's really not a D'Angelo record. It's really another Mad Skillz song. It's not one of his best, but it's kind of fun. It's a sort of a very lighthearted, quote-unquote funny love song, all set, of course, to a D'Angelo beat. It's kind of cool. It's interesting, but definitely we're probably really here for the wrap-up. So what were we thinking about in 2005? Apparently the game. Mad Skillz talks about the game a lot on this track. He opens up talking about the game, and he says, like, oh, the West Coast is back as the game's great album in 2005. And then later on, he brings up the game again. Otherwise, lots of kind of quick references. Bobby Brown had a TV show, but he doesn't really say anything about it. Eve had a sex tape, of course, quick mentions of that. Some records that were hot then by like Trina and Lil Wayne. What he does talk a lot about, well, primarily the game, but after that, he does slow it down towards the end and take kind of a serious moment about Katrina, which is cool because obviously that was really important in 2005 and obviously something to take seriously. But then he gets really kind of corny and throws his punchline-y mess into it. Like, he's like, Katrina was real serious and a lot of people died and she wasn't cute, but her eye was the shit or something like that, And I get it, like the eye of the storm, but it's just really cheesy and corny. A really quick reference maybe at the end to Katrina would have been much better than sort of the way he handled it. But it's okay. And then he branches off to start talking about how Kanye West said George Bush doesn't care about black people again because of Katrina, and then it springs back into hip-hop. And at the end, he winds up, sort of advertising his albums. He says, I put out an independent album this year, which would have been the Ghostwriter album in 2005. And I got my next album is on deck, but that didn't really come out because he didn't do an album until 2008 on Koch. So I guess that stayed on deck for a while. But it's a pretty cool wrap-up. It's a pretty cool track. He doesn't really have very much funny stuff in here. Like, he's got a lot of references, but not so many punchlines to actually make you, laugh or anything. But it's definitely cool to listen to just for a cool reminder, again, of where we were back in 2005. In fact, I actually appreciate these wrap-up songs now more than I did at the time. I sort of would listen to them once or twice at a time and kind of move on. Now it's more fun to go back. So let's listen to it together. Skillz Wrap-Up 2005.
It's your boy Skillz, y'all. You know how we do it. It's that time of year, so I might as well get to it. Matter of fact, in review, Holmes, I'm taking it back. So would y'all mind the No 5 recap? Alright, well listen. Started off the game, yeah, his album was cracked. And just like that, bam, the West Coast was back. I mean, Holmes did his numbers cause he had a lot to say. Beefing with Bleak and Buttons, but he ain't wanted with Jay. Speaking of the West, the boy Houston tried to ride out. I bought your album, dog, but you ain't have to gouge your eye out. Dabbled in paparazzi and got a quick check. I took that picture Nelly and Ashanti that y'all saw on the net. And then rappers was getting knocked. Lawyers was no option. When Kim took the stand, man, we had just lost cotton. Nas and Khalees both said I do. Eddie Murphy got divorced, but he was married to a dude. Tigger left Rap City, and we ain't know what to think. Herb turned himself in and took the murder out the ink. Then Jamie got his Oscar. After that, he was set. He smashed Ray, but Stealth, well, that was for the jet. Chappelle took 50 mil and then he slid out the dough. The hottest thing on TV had be the Bobby Brown show. Poor Bobby. Dude still trying to be a star, but will it ever happen? Oh, hell to the no. Then cats started beefing, I ain't too sure why. Jada 50 and Joe, then Flip and T.I. And I'm beefing with Mickey D's, man. Y'all dead wrong. Talking about paying rappers to mention Big Macs in their song. We do rap from the heart, y'all better have some respect. Alright, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac. Now where's my check? Ordinary People was a hell of a song. And I ain't the only one that got sick of hearing, who is Mike Down? I'm like the next man, I got love for the South. We know your name, Mike. I'm just wishing that you close your mouth. And then I'm a hustler. That joint was wicked. But soon as Cash got the poppin', man, the boys came together. Mariah, she came back. She had our support. Mike Jackson, innocent, moonwalk right out of court. Nick Cannon, Christina, and they was having relations. And then 50 kicked game out at the radio station. How can two men go so hard and diss each other? Then at the press conference, look like they about to kiss each other. And then Free and AJ quit. The world will never know why. I miss it too, AJ, but damn. Did you have to cry? Well, if it don't make dollars, then it don't make sense. And it's sad, cause BT ain't really been the same since. And this is not speculation, y'all. I'm stating the facts. So would y'all mind if I continue? Alright, well listen. Cats got gotta hustle and you just can't stop it. R. Kelly, well, his hustle happened to be trapped in the closet. Dude went all out. He was like a full-fledged actor, had us hanging on every word like chapter for chapter. But he never went to trial. How soon y'all forget? By the time his case come up, we'll be on chapter 106.